Hi friends, my name is Linda. I'm 17 years old. My parents adopted me when I was a baby. I grew up in a warm, loving home, getting everything I needed. They never made me feel like I was adopted. I was never curious about my biological mother and father. I wonder if I had searched for them, would I have found out that I had a twin sister? I'm not sure, but thankfully, fate brought us together after 16 years. It was thanks to an amazing coincidence that I found out about my twin sister's existence. My parents decided to celebrate their 25th wedding anniversary with a big party. I hate wearing dresses. My mom knows this, so she said, "This celebration is really important to us. Please, no t-shirt and jeans. Get yourself a dress and be the prettiest girl at the party." I couldn't say no, but I'd never bought myself an evening dress before. I didn't even know where to shop for one. After school, I Googled it and found a store. It was pretty far from where we lived, but of course I was going to go to make my mom happy. When I walked into the store, I went up to the first salesperson I saw. "Where are your evening dresses?" I asked. When she looked at me, we both froze. Looking at her face was like looking in the mirror. The resemblance was too much. The first thing I could say was, "Are you adopted?" "Yes," she said. "Were you born on March 13th? I asked. When she nodded, I hugged her tight without even thinking. I had a sister now, a twin sister. I left the store with a dress she chose for me. I waited for her to get off work at a nearby cafe. When she arrived, she began to cry, saying, "It's a miracle. I still can't believe this." I was practically looking at myself in the mirror. Just like me, she was always sniffling as she cried. When Rosa calmed down, I asked her, "Since you're working on a school day, did you quit school?" She did. Her mom said, "You won't be going to college anyway. Start working as soon as you can, so you can contribute," she said. According to my sister, her family didn't really need the money. Her mother did this out of spite because she'd been treating Rosa like this for a long time. I got so mad as I listened to my sister's story. At the time her parents adopted Rosa, they hadn't been able to conceive. But 8 years later, her mother got pregnant and had a boy. After her son was born, she started pushing Rosa away and treating her badly. What's worse, her father tolerated this. He never took issue with what his wife did. By the way, I keep saying her mother, but Rosa always refers to her as my stepmother. This is to be expected because from what I gather, my twin sister has been living like Cinderella all these years. She had to quit high school during her freshman year. She had been working 6 days a week, and at night she had to do all the housework. When she said in passing, "Some nights I'm so tired I can't sleep," I found myself tearing up. I was getting more shocked as she was telling her story. Her mother gave her room to her son. They put her bed in the basement. Rosa had been sleeping there for years. They wouldn't even let her eat with them at the table. She had to eat by herself in the basement. I couldn't stay quiet any longer. "That's enough. First, I'll teach this woman a lesson, and then I'm going to get you out of that house," I said. Unfortunately, after being abused for years, my sister had lost all her courage. Unlike her, I'm someone who stands up for myself no matter what and doesn't walk away from a fight. Now I would fight for my sister. I said to Rosa, "Tell me everything about that woman, your father, your house, your life. I will tell you about my family. Let's write it all down.
Oh.
We need to know everything. Then we'll switch our clothes in the bathroom." Rosa gave me an incredulous look. I winked at her. "Sis, can't you see? We'll switch our lives for a while. You'll go to my house, and I'll go to yours. We'll tell my parents everything after we teach that woman a lesson. They'll find a way." My sister began laughing. Even though she was terrified, she was really into the idea. 2 hours later, I was in front of Rosa's house wearing her clothes. I opened the door with her keys. I memorized the floor plan on my way there. The door that went down to the basement was right next to the bathroom. I heard her mother's voice as I was walking that way. "Rosa, why are you late? Didn't I tell you to come right home after you leave work?" I stopped. I walked towards the voice. I came to the living room. A woman was sitting on the couch, staring at the phone in her hand. I was hanging out with a friend. "By the way, keep in mind that from now on, I will come home whenever I want to." She lifted her head in disbelief. It was obvious that she had never heard anything like this from Rosa. "How dare you talk to me like that?" she said. Her puzzled expression was exactly what I wanted to see. "Whatever, I'm so tired. I'm taking a shower and going to bed early," I said. She was shocked. "Rosa, what are you, crazy? Showering? Going to bed? You have so much work to do. First, do the laundry, then go upstairs and clean the bedroom," she screamed. I didn't answer. I just smiled. I turned around and walked out. She kept screaming from where she was sitting. I was going to see my poor sister's bed in the basement. The basement had a terribly musty smell. I gagged a few times before I could get used to it. I sat on the bed. I held back my tears as I looked around. My poor sister was sleeping here. I was so relieved to think that at this moment she was in my house, probably in my room. My mom must have come to my room like she does every night and started telling her the office gossip as she played with her hair, and Rosa must be listening to her, giggling occasionally, just like I taught her to do. Suddenly, I felt something crashing into my feet. I pulled up my legs in fear. I was horrified when I saw what hit me. I could never in a million years guess a sewer rat could be that big. Wasn't this dangerous for my sister? How can a person sleep here? More importantly, how can these parents who have taken and raised this child from the time she was a baby allow her to sleep in such a horrible place? I still couldn't wrap my mind around it. After a while, the basement door opened. Someone started coming down the stairs. I saw that it was Rosa's father. When he saw me, he said, "Rosa, what did you say to your mom?" She was so angry that she got a headache. I jumped up. I walked up to him. He was a submissive character, as his wife was dominant. "Do you realize that you refer to her as my mother? If she was really my mother, would she allow me to sleep in this place?" I said. "What's wrong with this place?" he stuttered. "There are rats as big as cats," I screamed. "And you were covering your nose as you were coming down here. This is a basement. This place would make a person sick." The man turned back towards the stairs without saying anything. Just then, the basement door opened. This time, it was Rosa's stepmother who came in. Her husband said, "Something's up with her. She's complaining about the place she's been sleeping in for years." She slammed the door, saying, "Then let her stay here until she comes to her senses." After that, I heard the basement door getting locked. I didn't care. I could get that door open whenever I wanted. I took out my phone. I wrote, "Did you like my room?" and sent it to my sister. Rosa's answer took me by surprise. "Linda, we're coming to get you." It was supposed to be a surprise, but I had to tell you when I saw your text. They were coming to get me? But why? I was having so much fun here, and I wanted to have even more fun. When I wrote to Rosa, "Have my parents figured out you weren't me?" she immediately wrote back, "Your mother is very smart. I really played my part well." But still, she was suspicious. She wanted me to wear the dress you bought for the party. I put it on and went to her. When she saw me walking, she said, "You're not Linda. You're way too comfortable in this dress. Linda would be complaining about it." So I had to tell her everything. Half an hour later, the basement door opened. Rosa, my mom, and a woman I didn't know came down the stairs. They brought along someone from social services. Apparently, when an adopted child quits school, the Department of Social Services needs to be notified. Plus, the place where Rosa was sleeping and the way she had been treated were obviously not in compliance with adoption rules, in which case the child needed to be taken away. When Rosa's stepmother saw me and Rosa together, she got this blank look in her eyes, and when she figured it all out, she fainted. Her stepfather sat quietly in a corner without saying a word. When she came to, I brought Rosa over to her. I told her, "If there's anything you want to say, you should say it now." She looked at her stepmother. "My biggest mistake was being scared of you, but I'm not scared anymore. I just pity you," she said. Her stepmother said, "I'm sorry. I separated you. And this came back to our house as a curse. I deserved it." We were all shocked. When she admitted that, we knew how we were separated from each other. She and her husband knew we were twins. They only took Rosa because they wanted an only child. They bribed the social worker working their case to keep quiet. My parents came a few days later and adopted me without knowing I had a twin sister. So what happened next? Like I said earlier, the Department of Social Services removed Rosa from that family. The next day, my dad went to the department and asked to adopt Rosa. Because we were twins, that was what they wanted too. That night, Rosa and I were in my room. The next evening, my parents had their 25th anniversary party. Rosa attended the party in the dress I bought that day, and I wore a t-shirt and a pair of jeans just like I wanted. So Rosa was the prettiest girl that night, and this made me really happy because my only goal in life from now on is to see a smile on my sister's face. Meanwhile, Rosa went back to school. We made a decision together. We are going to law school to become lawyer twins in the future. Thank you for listening to my story. If you subscribe to this channel, you'll be the first to know when new videos are uploaded. Bye!
Hi guys, I'm Justin. I'm 16 years old. The sun is my number one enemy. You know why? Because I'm allergic to it. I spend my life running away from sunlight. I have the most rare and dangerous type of sun allergy. I can only go outside at night. That's why I call myself the Son of Darkness. We found out about my allergy when I was 6. Until then, I didn't have any problems with the sun. We were on a picnic as a family. My sister and I were playing frisbee after lunch. We were throwing it back and forth. We'd been playing for a while when I noticed that my arms were itching. I tried scratching them, but when I did, they started turning red and hurting a lot. I ran over to my mom to show her the redness. She thought it was just sunburn. She was surprised because we'd put on sunscreen in the morning. Stay in the shade for a while. We'll put ice on it when we get home, she said. I did as she said. I sat in the shade under a tree. But the pain was only getting worse. I couldn't take it anymore and I started crying. That's when I realized my face was hurting as well. The salt in my tears was burning my cheeks. I ran to my mom again. She panicked when she saw me. I developed big red blots on my face. Some of them had even turned into blisters. We went to a hospital right away. That's when we found out that it wasn't just sunburn. The doctor said that I was allergic to the sun. I was going to have to keep away from sunlight for the rest of my life. In medicine, it's called solar urticaria. They don't know what causes it. The immune system reacts to the ultraviolet rays emitted by the sun. Like all allergies, it can range from mild to severe. Like I said at the beginning, mine is the worst kind. I'm not supposed to be exposed to sunlight for even a minute. My whole life changed in an instant. I was now stuck at home all day with blackout curtains covering the windows. I could only go outside after the sun went down. It was very difficult at first, but humans adapt to everything. I was mostly sad about not being able to go to school. I stopped seeing my friends. I was still talking to some of them online, but it wasn't the same as hanging out in person. Our friendships weakened. Eventually, we stopped talking online too, so I became even more lonely. Well, you adapt to that too. In fact, you even start seeing the bright side. For example, I play guitar really well because of it. Of course, I've had a lot of time to practice. Also, thanks to my allergy, I have a really good relationship with my sister Tamara. For years, she was the only friend I had. Another important issue is education. I study at home. I'm lucky that I'm a disciplined person. I can sit and study for hours. I also take some private classes online. I just need to take exams to get my diploma. So far, everything has been going well. I think I'll even be able to get a college degree. I think college will be less problematic because there are schools that allow you to do everything online, even the exams. Eventually, I'll have to get a job that I can do from home. I have to take that into account when choosing what to study. Of course, another option is working at night. Maybe I could become a DJ at nightclubs. I just thought of that now. It's actually not a bad idea. Let me think about this a little bit. Last year, my parents prepared a wonderful surprise for me. As a birthday gift, we moved to the city we live in now. You know why this is such a great gift? Because it's a resort town. There's stuff happening almost 24 hours a day. Cafes and restaurants stay open until really late. There are always people in the streets. As someone who can only go out at night, these things are really important for me. We used to live in a small town. Shops would close at 6 and restaurants around 7 or 8. So when I'd go outside, I'd just walk around with nothing to do. Here, even at night, it's like daytime. Most importantly, I used to have pretty much zero friends. But not anymore. I have a group of friends that I meet up with 3-4 times a week. We sit around a campfire by the beach and talk until late at night. Some nights, I play the guitar and my girlfriend Betsy sings. Yes, you heard it right. I also have a girlfriend now. I had gone out with a few girls before, but they don't really count. Betsy is my first actual girlfriend. Her family has a summer house here. She spends most of her time sunbathing and swimming. When we first started hanging out, I could tell things were going to get serious. I couldn't say, Betsy, we can only see each other at night. I can't meet you during the day. You would want to hang out with your boyfriend all the time. But my allergy would stop us from having a normal life. So I decided to keep it a secret because I was afraid of losing her. Eventually, we became boyfriend and girlfriend. We kept on seeing each other only at night. I thought she knew that something weird was going on, but she didn't say anything. We only planned to do things after sundown. We didn't even talk about meeting during the day. I was so afraid that she'd asked to do something earlier. What could I say when she asked, come over to our place for a swim? I was getting so anxious just thinking about it. One night, I had a dream in which I was a vampire. And Betsy was a vampire hunter. She was hiding her true identity, waiting for an opportunity to stab me in the heart. It was a really funny dream, but it really shook me. It was wrong of me to hide such a thing from the person I loved. That night, I told her about my dream. And then about my allergy. She didn't believe me at first. She thought I was still joking about being a vampire like in the dream. She finally realized I was serious once I started talking about my isolated life. It turns out, I had been stressing about nothing. She wasn't aware of anything weird. She thought I was sleeping all day because I was out all night. And this was the reason why I wasn't going out until nighttime. She came to visit me the next day. She got really emotional when she saw the thick curtains. She teared up. This must be so difficult. I understand it better now, she said. I showed her the house. She asked why my room had both curtains and window shades while there were only curtains in the other rooms. My sister was with us then too. She started crying when she heard Betsy's question. I held her. It's something that happened years ago, but Tamara still gets upset about it. She was just a kid when it happened. Like I said, Tamara had been my only friend for many years. We'd play together all day. She loved hiding somewhere and scaring me. Yeah. One morning, she came into my room, saw that I was still asleep, and hid behind the curtains. She tried scaring me by making weird sounds, but I was sleeping too deeply and didn't hear her. So she finally got bored and left. But as she came out from behind the curtains, she accidentally opened them. I didn't have window shades then. The sun hit my face through the gap. I ended up being exposed to it for an hour. When I woke up, my face was all red and swollen. I felt that something was off, so I touched my face and it hurt really bad. I screamed really loudly. My mom ran to my room. She called my doctor when she saw my face. The doctor arrived and tried to make me feel better. She said that I had dodged a bullet this time. Apparently, sun allergy can cause the trachea to swell, which leads to difficulties in breathing for some people. I never had such a problem, but since I was exposed to the sun for so long that morning, it was a matter of minutes until I had trouble breathing. There was even the possibility that I would never wake up. My sister still feels guilty about that day. So that's why my room now has window shades in addition to curtains. You might be wondering if I'm getting treatment. Like I said at the beginning, there are different types of sun allergies. There are some medicines that can help alleviate the symptoms, but those don't help me because my allergy is so severe. I'm very unlucky in that. I had a really good doctor where we used to live. He really wanted to help me and try different treatments. One of these was using an ultraviolet lamp in order to get my body accustomed to such rays. It's called phototherapy. It made a lot of sense to me and I got my hopes up, but nothing changed after months of treatment. So I got really depressed. I decided that I didn't want to be disappointed like that again. I resolved to plan my life to keep on living the way I do now. In the future, if they do find an advanced cure or treatment for what I have, of course I'd give it a try, but I don't think that's likely to happen. Still, you should always have some hope and be grateful for what you have. There is a genetic disorder called XP, which has been the subject of movies. It's a 1 in a million disorder. People with this condition can't go out in the sun just like me, but in their case, the sun can cause terrible things like blindness and deafness, and their average lifespan is 35. They usually die at a very young age. When you think about it, we have the same problem, not being able to go out in the sun. But there is a huge difference between us, so I think you should be grateful for what you have, as some people have it much worse. Thanks for listening to me. I hope you didn't get bored. You can find stories based on true events on this channel. If you want to get notified about new videos, subscribe now. Bye!